I want to speak to you a little bit tonight about the power of gratitude, the power of thanksgiving. Immediately you see here that he gave thanks, which is really what we would call blessed. Bless the food is basically giving thanks to God. Okay? He gave thanks and broke the loaves, and then he gave it to his disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. And then we know the story that it multiplied and thousands were fed. He didn't lift up what he had and said, we don't have enough. Doesn't even come out of his mouth. He didn't lift up his head and say, well, I'm glad we're taken care of, but everyone else isn't. He lifted up what he had and he gave thanks to God. And that thanksgiving opened a portal of provision from heaven to not just Jesus, but to everyone that was around Jesus. Thanksgiving causes what you have to increase. Thanksgiving causes what you don't have to be addressed and provided for. So really, it's the whole, are you an optimist or a pessimist? You should always, well, I've done the profile in school and they told me I was a pessimist. My cup's always half empty. You're wrong. You've been programmed wrong. Because Jesus let us know very clearly just how much provision is in the Father's hands for us. So why do you ever think that you don't have enough? Why do you ever think that you don't have what you need to get through this next season or situation or whatever it might be? Because you're looking at yourself as the source. And when you look at yourself as the source, what you're actually saying is, I am my own God, I am my own provider, and because I'm a human being, I'm horribly disappointed. Because I was not I was not designed to be infinite. I was designed to worship the infinite one. Does this make sense? So when we shift over and we see ourselves as our solution, ourselves as our healing, ourselves as the answer, ourselves as our provision, we become disappointed, and then from that place we begin to murmur and complain. Whereas thanksgiving is not a self-gratifying emotional position. Thanksgiving is an externally recognized third party. And thanksgiving is actually honor. One thing I've learned about the Holy Spirit is that whenever I honor Holy Spirit, I feel his pleasure getting closer to me. I feel this wave of pleasure. I feel him wanting to do more for me. When I honor him, I make room for him. And when I make room for him, I'm relocating myself in the equation. And I'm saying, go ahead. You see what I'm saying? When we choose to complain, we displease God. You're in a test with God. Everyone's like, oh, God's not like that. Yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Deal with it. And he's not testing you when you're paying attention. He's testing you when it's hard and you're not looking. And he's like, here's why God tests you. I've got them within 2 inches of Canaan, of the River Jordan, and I'm just trying to get them over the edge. Now I just need to see if they're going to still trust me after all I've done for them. I just want to see if they're going to still give me thanks, even though that looks impossible. I want them to look back over. This is what I personally call it, the track record of God's goodness in my life. I start looking back and I recount God, because if I can't find something in today, I can find something yesterday.